So guys, Bitcoin is sitting at 61,000 right now. Altcoins are starting to take a hit, and everyone's wondering what is going on with this deviation. How much longer is it going to be taking? And have we seen this in previous cycles? And we have, which I want to go over today, as well as what the price action is telling us and what you currently should be doing during this time. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I'm just an intermediate trader documenting my journey, keeping you guys updated with the markets, showing you guys my wins, my losses, and everything else in between. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump into the news around Bitcoin, around altcoins, and everything else. So guys, like how I said, Bitcoin's sitting at around 61,000 right now, deviated very low, and it's just because a lot of people were talking about before we started to shoot up to that point, based off of the price action of, you know, where Bitcoin has been trading since March, it made sense for us to have a deviation to the lower point around 57 to 58K. Talked about it on a recent post from Justin Bennett, which we'll go over today. But currently right now we are seeing that deviation. If we look at the RSI as well, it has fallen below 30, which is signaling that we are oversold right now, guys. And the fear has gone neutral again in the markets, just because, you know, a lot of people weren't anticipating something like this. If you keep up with the markets, news events, and videos like this, you were aware of a deviation that was potentially going to happen. But that's currently what's going on, and we could be potentially going even a little bit lower before we start to shoot up. But based off of the RSI, we are, you know, seeing that we're oversold right now, and the sentiment in the market is just, you know, squeezing out anyone that wasn't really, you know, built for what's going on. Back to the Justin Bennett post talking about what currently happened back on September 26th, he was talking about how Bitcoin could sweep back. So he says, this isn't confirmed yet, which now it is, but the conditions favor sweeping Bitcoin 57 to 58K longs before targeting that 68 to 70K liquidity, and validation on a sustained break above 65K, which you guys know now with the price action around Bitcoin, we are deviating lower to that point. And he gave an update on this post, just pretty much of his perspective around Bitcoin and currently what he thinks we could be seeing. But if we go and just look at pretty much the deviation and now what he's thinking with how everything is going, he says Bitcoin is quickly approaching the key support that he mentioned last week, which is, you know, around that 57, 58K. If you know the top, you should have, if you followed along with the post and specific people that talked about deviations like this based off of the trading. Don't screw up the next part. Take your time and wait for confirmation. Zero FOMO, especially if you just threaded the short trade. So guys, right now, based off of the price action, based off of what's currently going on, we are starting to deviate a little bit lower. This is, you know, based off of the 57, 58K longs, and a few different things around the price action of Bitcoin. And, you know, before we start to see a huge rip, we usually see a deviation and some sideways trading before that huge rip, and it's just, you know, based off of that price action. At the end of the day, if you don't really keep up with it, it kind of gets a little bit complicated. But this is where you start to look at, you know, key resistance levels, 200-day EMA, and multiple other different factors and indicators to really determine where we're potentially going. But guys, that's what's going on with Bitcoin, where we could be potentially going. Currently sitting now at 60,997. Like I said, deviating to lower points is probably going to happen. The total 2 chart as well, as you can see, has also deviated much lower, and we can also see as well that it is below that 30 mark, signaling that altcoins are in the oversold region right now. And right now we're really squeezing out the rest of retail, anyone that isn't committed to the markets and the cryptocurrency that they're invested in, as well as people that are just trying to, I guess, ease their risk and kind of cut some off the top so that they can still be profitable right now. But as a result, guys, altcoins are starting to deviate lower. As we can see right here, we have broken below the previous support line, which we were obviously trading at currently about like 2 days ago. But right now we are seeing lower points, and based off of the trading, if we start to drop a little bit lower with Bitcoin, we could be deviating lower with altcoins as well. All right, guys, so let's talk about where we're at in this crypto cycle and what we have seen in previous cycles. This is going to give us an understanding of what has happened in previous times and kind of, you know, give us a little bit more comfortable of what's to come. So the 2-week Fisher transform bull crosses. This is a chart that shows us whenever we're pretty much having a switch in price action and could be potentially moving into a bullish pattern. But this is where you need to start doing a little bit more research on charts and information, and then you can get some more intellect on everything that's going on. But pretty much CryptoCon is talking about how in this chart the same cross came before in the Bitcoin bull market in October of 2020, which was right here. Currently you see that sideways deviation. He also says it happens in the 2016 run, which was currently right here. I'll put an arrow so you guys can see that sideways deviation that occurs. And then, of course, in the 2020 cycle, or not 2020, sorry, 2012 cycle, which was very, very early. If you were there, you're honestly sitting really, really good with Bitcoin and everything else. But, guys, every time we start to see, you know, that huge rip before a bull market, we usually see this sideways cross that kind of happens. And we have the data points all the way from 2012 all the way till now. And based off of these previous cycles, we start to see that there's specific points when we, you know, start to have a peak up, deviate a little bit lower, trade sideways, and then we start to shoot up. You could see it based off of the specific bear floor that he has labeled right here. We usually hit a green, and you can see the specific indicators on what they are, the bull cross and the final mid-cycle bear cross. Well, from here we have a bull cross, that final mid, and then from there a bull cross, and we rip up. That's what happened in 2012. That's what happened in 2016. That's what happened in 2020. Let me get this freaking ad out of here. Freaking ads. Yeah, and that happened in That happened in 2020, guys, with those deviations. Like I said, that specific bull cross, the final mid, bull cross, and then the huge rip. Currently, that is what has happened right now. We're at the point at that second bull cross right before we have a huge rip up in price action. And even with what we're seeing with Bitcoin currently, it's having that sideways trade action before we start to shoot up. And, you know, Justin Bennett made a great, you know, point about how currently right now, you know, the price action around Bitcoin needs to match how everything has been going from March. We're not just going to shoot up. We need a slight squeeze, get a little bit of squeeze out of the market. And then from there, we're going to be able to shoot up to that, you know, 68, 70K mark, even 72, 74,000 where we previously were. But based off of, you know, previous cycles, guys, this really lets us know exactly what has happened and currently what we could be seeing. And I'm honestly very bullish. You know, he even says all data points point to the true bull market in 2025, which of course this is whenever we're probably going to see the peak for Bitcoin. Altcoins are going to see that probably a little bit sooner than that, just because dominance is starting to break down and a few other indicators. And right now, you know, Bitcoin is trying to keep up with the stock market, the U.S. stock market, and even right now, you know, the U.S. stock market is taking a hit just because of friction in the Middle East of, you know, tensions, World War III, all these different things that are going on, which is really crazy, but I think all of it is just FUD, guys. You really shouldn't worry about all those things. You should really just be focused on what we have previously seen with price action and currently, and what's going on right now with Bitcoin and altcoins. Two people that I wanted to bring up in terms of sentiment around Bitcoin and currently what we have seen, and how to top or pretty much see exactly what's going on and mark the top. Ionic made a great post. He's cussing in it, so I'm going to skip a little bit over here. He says this indicator is pure gold. He talks about how to mark the top of the market. Mark the top. He says it marks the market top every single time. It's so simple to use that even a 5-year-old can use it, blah blah. The indicator is called the GMI Bitcoin top indicator. When the GMI indicator peaks, that's the sign. That is when you should not That's when you should be preparing to take profits, not dreaming of another 100x. Look at every peak, the GMI indicator signaling the top perfectly. Right now, we're nowhere near those levels yet. There's still room to grow, but trust me, when the GMI starts to peak, you better be ready to take those profits. I'll be the first to let you know when it's time. No hype, no waffle, just a proven reliable indicator to keep us ahead. We're not just surviving this market, we're conquering it. So guys, indicators like this is also something to let you know exactly where we're currently at. And, you know, when we potentially are going to see that huge rip. Honestly, it's probably going to be in 2025, you know, the start of 2025, getting to the mid and end of 2025. But currently right now, this is a great indicator to really determine when we are going to see the peak of the markets. In terms of what I think you should really be doing right now, I think Miles Dutcher really puts it together really concisely. Before I jump into what you currently should be doing. This is the plan by Eugene. He talks about the plan has been quite simple. Sell when everyone is turbo aping alts. Start buying when people begin losing conviction that the dip was a lev flush to buy, which right now, guys, I'm currently stacking up on more. I'm going to buy more crypto tonight, and I'm going to document it and pretty much let you guys know how it goes, because I'm going to be buying whenever the fear is in the market and whenever we see dips, dollar cost averaging, of course. It says, full-size dips buys when missiles are flying and World War III is about to happen again and everyone is de-risking because the war is only just starting. I may eat my own words in the future, but I've seen this playbook often enough to have decent conviction of where prices go from here. And this is where, you know, you have to really get the perspectives of multiple people. I like to get the perspectives of new people as well as people that have been here for multiple cycles, just to get a different level of perspective of where we're at and what people think about the markets. That's really going to let you know about the price action, what everyone is currently doing, and, you know, where we potentially are going to be headed. Another great post from Miles Dutcher, in terms of what you should be doing and what I really think you should be doing if you're so worried about the markets and everything that's going on. It says you're seriously going to panic. Well, this is why you shouldn't sell your bags, okay, guys? You're seriously going to panic sell your bags just as the Fed officially pivoted with a 50 BPS rate cut. China is stimulating its economy. Global liquidity is on the rise. FTX distributions are beginning. Q4, crypto's best quarter historically has just begun. The election is just 1 month away. I don't know about you, but the dip seems like a gift, which, like I said, I'm buying more coins right now. Okay. Now, in terms of what you currently should be doing if you are worried about everything that's currently going on in the markets, some advice. Don't panic sell. Okay, guys, you do not want to panic sell, especially whenever everything is going on like this and they're squeezing people out of the market. Dips are for buying. Don't rush. Be patient and dollar cost average in, which is what I'm currently doing. Prioritize alts that were leading the market last week, like memes, and chill and stop looking at headlines. Guys, at the end of the day, headlines are there to scare you. There's news that is going to consistently be going on in the markets, and I think that you really need to really keep up with what matters, and that's really the price action around Bitcoin, what previous people in previous cycles have seen, and then on top of that, what we might be seeing in the coming weeks with the price action around Bitcoin and the price action around altcoins. Currently, right now, we're in a stationary market. You really shouldn't be worrying about what's currently going on. Really, you should be prioritizing your portfolio, looking at the altcoins you're invested in, keeping up with the price action around Bitcoin and altcoins, and then from there, just, you know, chilling out. Don't really stress too much about it, guys. We're in the start of, you know, something amazing, like how Miles Dutcher brought up with all those great points. We're on the verge of multiple different catalyst events that are going to blow us through the top of this market, and if you're willing to hold and stay strong during this time, you are going to benefit from it and you're going to make crazy gains. But guys, that's pretty much an update on the markets of what's currently going on currently with the price action around Bitcoin trading around 61,000, dropping a little bit. We could be potentially deviating to a lower point. RSI is showing us that we're oversold, and, you know, the sentiment in the market has gone neutral, so everyone is starting to get slightly fearful again. Justin Bennett really believes that we might be approaching that 57 and 58K point before we start to shoot back up. But at the end of the day, this is just one person's opinion, and this is all based off of price action in March, 200-day EMA, multiple indicators, all these different things that really come to the conclusion of this price action. From there, altcoins are also taking a hit because of what's going on with Bitcoin, but they're also in the oversold region. Actually, we are starting to see a slight peak while I'm shooting this video above 30, which is great, good for altcoins. But I'm actually going to be taking advantage right now and wanting to dollar cost average. Right now, with where we're seeing on the Fisher Transform Bull crosses, this is a chart that shows us that we're potentially, you know, moving to a bullish pattern as opposed to a bearish one. And based off of previous cycles, we're currently getting set up for something huge. On top of that, guys, there's multiple indicators you could be keeping up with to make sure you can time the peak of the market to top for Bitcoin. And then on top of that, you should really just, you know, keep updated with what really matters. Price action around Bitcoin, what's going on with your altcoin specific projects. Then from there, just step away, guys. Don't look at the headlines. Don't worry about World War III. Of course, we're going to have to worry about all those things in the coming months and whenever it really has an effect on the markets and when inflation starts to hit, because everyone's just so euphoric right now. But overall, guys, take a step back, really focus on what matters, and start to do more research so that you can get more confident in the markets. But if you're new to my channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. Like I said, I'm an intermediate trader showing you guys my wins, my losses, keeping you guys updated on the market so you guys can capitalize on these events and also get more educated on everything. At the end of the day, you won't know unless you go and learn this stuff, guys. Learn from different people's perspectives, get different ideas, and never take one person's piece of advice. I show these videos to document and also just show you guys what's possible for me. I'll jump into a little bit more on my portfolio in the coming videos, which we probably will be jumping into that, and specific coins that you can take advantage of just because the markets are kind of stationary right now. But new to the channel, check out the rest of my content, drop me a comment, like, subscribe, let me know what you guys think of my perspective, what's going on in the markets, price action, and everything else in between. Other than that, I drop daily content every day, and hopefully I see you guys in the next one. Peace.